Buff Nation, what is going on? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thanks to my friend Gucci. He has reposted the 11 players that are on the Senior Bowl watch list. I'm going to break it down for you who's on this list, who I think should have been included on this list, maybe highlight to the guys that I think got the best odds to be drafted in this next year's draft, 2025 NFL draft. Let's go ahead and get started. Is anybody missing from this list? What do you think about these guys? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that. Let's go ahead and get it going. So, again, thank you, Gucci, for posting this. Wonderful. So, let's get to it. First player on here is Khalil Benson. I think right now we're expecting him to be our starting right guard or right tackle. We'll see how that opens up here on Thursday or where he opens up at. But I think he does in the NFL definitely profile to be a guard rather than a tackle. BJ Green, transfer from Arizona State. I think he's going to be a standout player for us, as well as other edge starting opposite of him, Deion Hayes. Now, at the cornerback position, we have Preston Hodge, who's a transfer from Liberty, one of the highest graded corners last year, according to PFF. Wide receiver Jimmy Horn, wide receiver and cornerback Travis Hunter. Then we have the Sanders brothers, Shedeur Sanders, Shiloh Sanders, wide receiver Will Shepard, transfer from Vanderbilt. We got Mark Vassett, punter, was here last year, originally from Louisville. And then we have FAU transfer LeJante Wester at wide receiver, caught over 100 passes, I believe, last year at FAU. Wonderful list. There are a couple names of guys that I think should be on this list. If CU is going to have a good year, better year than where we were at last year, I think that two guys that will play a significant role and impact in getting us there is going to be safety Karen Silmon Craig. I would love to see him, or would have loved to see him included on this list, as well as probably one of, or if not the best offensive lineman that we brought in this year, and that is guard Justin Mayers. I know that we were all high on Tyler Johnson too, but I don't think right now he's working with the ones. So I could definitely see Justin Mayers, especially if we have an 1,000-yard rusher, him being up there with Khalil Benson in terms of somebody that should be on the Senior Bowl watch list. Now, if I've kind of talked about this before, it's hard for me to see CU getting double-digit players drafted. That doesn't mean we're not going to have that number end up on NFL rosters. That very well could be the case. You know, like one of our best players last year, Xavier Weaver, I think is going to make the Arizona Cardinals as a undrafted free agent, which is wonderful. But if I had to kind of, if you put a gun to my head and said, Dave, you got to pick the first five buffs to be drafted, something like that, I think I would probably go with Shedeur Sanders in no particular order. Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter. I think Shiloh has a significant shot at getting drafted as a day 3 safety. I think that's totally reasonable. Now, I would probably go with BJ Green on there. I think he's going to be a standout for us. And then because I think he has that profile that you look for in an X type of wide receiver, Will Shepard. I think that those are probably my guys. And depending on how good the offense is, I think you very well could see somebody like LeJante Wester sneak into the NFL draft, because he also is 6 feet. I think he's got good size, especially for a slot player. And so those would probably be the guys that I think have the biggest, or to me, the highest probability of being drafted. Again, this isn't a slight to anybody on this list. If you're making this list, you obviously have pro potential. But guys, it is hard to get drafted. Depending on the compensatory pick amount in every draft, it's about give or take 250 or so guys that get drafted. If we're talking about first round talent, it's really tough to have multiple players in the top 32 players and that are draft eligible in college football. I think the fact that we got 2 right now in Shiloh, or in Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, is an absolute win. We need to cherish this. This is going to be a very special year for CU, especially with that high end talent here. Both of those guys could go in the top 5, which is insane to think about. It's just insane to think about. But yeah, who would be kind of the top 5 or 6 guys that you would say have the best odds to be drafted from CU next year? Let me know in the comments. I think if we are going to get double digit players drafted, I think that correlates with us being in a Big 12 championship and or making the college football playoff. I think so. I think if we get to that level, if we hit that ceiling, then I think you could see a handful of these guys on this list, in addition to Cameron Silmon Craig and Justin Mayers drafted. But I think probably realistically, most schools kind of have less than that. So we'll just have to see. But I love to see that these guys are getting recognition. Hopefully, we see Cameron Silmon Craig and Justin Mayers get the recognition. And I guess Tyler Brown could be on that list, but I'm under the impression that he's going to be coming back for next year too. So we'll just have to see. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always,